Hello everybody. So as you can see, there is some technical difficulties right now. But my name is Keith. I am a professional videographer down in Somerset, right down southwest, so about 40 minutes from Bristol, if you don't know where Bridgewater is. I have no niche in what I do. I film everything from documentaries, which I'm going to talk to you about today. I do promo videos, I do events, I do everything. I was recently in the Definition magazine, if anybody knows what the Definition magazine is. They did an article on me, and they called me the everyman, because I have no niche. So that is what I do. I think that I'm going to show you what I do now, and then we'll dive straight into some things. Before that, just to let everybody know, I do have ADHD, okay? So I can't sit down. I'm a bit scatty and a bit all over the place, okay? So just, this might be a bit different to what anybody's ever done before. So are we ready? Are we able to play that? You're going to sync it? Okay, what we're going to do...
You're going to just pray it comes through.
Okay, hopefully this comes through. Okay.
Something in the water, I feel it taking over me. It's slowly getting harder to breathe, to breathe, to breathe, to breathe. And I don't know what's happening. How did it come to this? I saw danger.
Okay, so that is me. That is what I do, I guess in a nutshell. As you can see, I have no niche. I don't know if anybody noticed quickly, but I have filmed people like Snoop Dogg, for example. That day was crazy. I filmed the Prime Minister of Israel in the day, and then in the evening I had to go over and film Snoop Dogg. So that was probably one of my weirdest days I've ever done. I don't have too long to teach you and talk to you what I'm going to do today. And normally, I'll be honest with you, I do wing a lot of what I do. That's just part of who I am. That's part of my ADHD and what I do. I tend to work a little bit better like that. but I have wrote some stuff down, which we will go through. And I'm going to talk to you today about a documentary that I've recently just filmed. If we can just get the start of it up, we will go through. Just pause it a second for me, please. Perfect. So, this is Dan. This is a boy called Daniel. He's 15 years old, and he is autistic. And we have just basically filmed a documentary on him. He's into Bigfoot, which is a very strange one. Can't say I'm fully into Bigfoot myself, but it was very interesting to do. He basically found traces of old world monkey in a footprint that he found in a forest near me. And a production company hired me to be a DOP with my team to come along and create this content for them. And what I want to sort of teach you today is just what we did for this documentary and how we created it, and basically like just play the start of it for me. Yeah. We'll go down it. We'll go down that route.
What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you a little story on how me and the guys landed this really cool documentary. It's a little bit quirky, it's a little bit weird, but I'm going to go through everything that happened, tell you about the equipment, the lighting setups we used for interviews, and everything else in between. So the documentary that we landed is basically following an autistic boy called Daniel who is into Bigfoot, and he grew up watching all of the Bigfoot programs, especially in America. There's these three sort of famous Bigfoot presenters. There was Ronnie, Renee, and Ryan. They flew over, and what it was really about was sort of teaching Daniel what they would do to find Bigfoot, find Sasquatches. The reason this whole documentary came about was because Daniel was out in the woods with his nan. He found a footprint. He took DNA of the footprint and sent it to like the eDNA people in like, I think it was the Netherlands or something like that. They basically came back and said there was traces of old world monkey. We were basically just doing a documentary following his journey with autism, how he finds being out in the woods like a sort of safe place to be, and then to have these famous people from the Bigfoot world come over who he's watched and followed for a very long time. It's just a very nice sort of environment to be in.
Stop. No,
Pause.
stop.
Perfect. Thank you. So it's paused on a nice shot of my face with no hat on. I am known for having a backwards hat, so there's me, a very rare picture of me with no hat. Okay. It's a little bit easier for me to create this video and show you the video like that rather than me talk. One, because of my ADHD, I tend to go off on loads of different subjects, and I end up talking for about 4 hours. I actually have workshops with CVP, and they are 4 hours, and I tend to still go over there. That's a little bit different to this. I actually teach how to do interview setups, which I'm about to show you on here. Now, the thing with this is basically creating compelling content for a viewer, and what it's like to be a DOP on set. The production company, we met 2 weeks before this, so I didn't know what was going on. We had no time to prep or anything, so I want to try and teach people that within this industry you need to work on the fly, and you need to know exactly what you're doing, because we're in a forest, we can't control the lighting, we can't control the weather, and you need to be able to know what you can do under these circumstances to be able to still create that compelling content for people, for a viewer. Now, none of this has actually been released. You are the first people to actually see this. I got approval from the production company who hired me. They are going to be trying to sell the documentary. They went to Cannes recently to try and sell it and stuff, and we're going to Seattle in August, where they filmed like Twilight and stuff like that around Mount Olympus, and then go down to some indigenous people because they've spotted Bigfoot before and things like that, just to make the part 2. But I'm literally just going to go through how we did the interview setups and what equipment we used on the fly. Am I allowed to swear? ish. There's no kids, okay. There's quite a lot of what we call shitty rigs going on because it was obviously on the fly and stuff. If you play a little bit more, please. Perfect. I'm trying to look at this. I mean, this is just filler stuff. So I actually was going to make this for YouTube. This is just a little bit of filler, just to break up the video. And this also shows you. Can you just pause it a sec for me, please? Thank you. What I'm doing like a double-edged thing here. So what I'm trying to do is, with me teaching you about compelling content on how we filmed it, this video itself, when you actually watch this on YouTube, should be some sort of compelling content. So for example, we had the opening, tells you exactly what you're going to be watching, and then I will break it up with like raw footage and stuff, just to make it so it feels like you're actually sort of there with us during our filming stuff. So yeah, if you play again for me, please. It's so weird. You can't really hear much here, but the sound is a little bit low.
So I was recently filming for a client in the woods. We noticed that there was a group of people and I could hear them talking about like production and flying people in. They could see me with my FX6 in my hand and they basically come up to me and they said, "Are you a DOP?" I said yes. They're like, "Are you local?" I said yes. And long story short, they offered me the job and I brought on Dan and Sam. Sam was second camera, Dan was BTS and third camera. So we had the A cam was the FX6 and I used the DZO Kata zooms. I mainly used the 38 to 80. Absolutely phenomenal lens. Picture out of it is great. I also then used the Sony Zeiss 35mm 1.4. That is my favorite lens. That's my go-to for like majority of things. I needed a bit more of the autofocus for some of the walk-in stuff. The Kata zooms I did use on the first day because I wanted to use them, but then I realized the manual focus wasn't what I sort of needed. So then ended up coming back to the Sony for the autofocus. For the B cam, we used an FX3 and we had the Sigma 35mm 1.4 and then we had the Samyang 35 T1.5. Then we started using the Rode Wireless Pros, hooked everybody up with some microphones because the FX6 can do like 6 audio channels. But then it just started getting a bit messy, so I stripped things back and I just kept the Rode NTG 4 Plus as a directional microphone on the camera, and we just used that, and that just worked perfectly.
Perfect. Cool, thank you. So that's basically the equipment that we used. It's easier for me to show you what we use rather than me just telling you. So again, I'm creating compelling content for you guys to watch. It's a little bit nicer than me just telling you what we had. You can physically see exactly what we used. Every brand that I mentioned in the video, I work with. I feel very privileged about that. Worked very hard to get some of those brands. So obviously showed my support in this video, but also at the same time, these are brands that I already had their gear. I fully stand behind them. I'm not someone that just takes on anybody. Yeah, absolutely love Sony. Stephen's here from Sony as well. He's there. He's watching me. So, long story short with this is nothing was planned. I didn't know what was going on. It was a sort of, we're going to be filming in the woods for 4 days. Bring your equipment. Let's go. And the production company come from a film, like a short film direction. They'd never done documentaries before. I've done documentaries before. Probably my biggest one was I did a documentary in New York. I followed an entrepreneur who lost loads of weight. We put the documentary out on Amazon Prime during COVID in 2020 and became the most watched fitness documentary of 2020 on Amazon Prime. Won a bunch of awards for it, so felt very happy about that. Half of it is actually filmed on an iPhone, not by me, by him. He filmed absolutely everything, so I had about 2 terabytes of footage to go through with his iPhone stuff. But again, like that, and with this, and what it seems to be a thing within documentaries, is you can't plan it out so much. So you need to approach things from a viewer's point of view rather than like maybe a DOP or something. And you need to think about what an audience would want to get out of the story. And that's obviously the approach that we did with this. And I had a bit of a clash with the production company because they came from a film direction, like I said. But then they started to trust me and trust my judgment and trust what I was trying to do with creating compelling content and trying to tell this story about Daniel. And they wanted to focus a lot on the Bigfoot aspect. And I disagreed, and I said we should focus more on Daniel and his autism. And they agreed in the end, and that's basically what we ended up doing. But if we can play a little bit more for me, please, Matt. Thank you. Again, this is just filler. So I always have a laugh on set. Obviously, I take things seriously. I'm a professional, but my guys are great. We just end up. I think that's one of the biggest.
That has got to be one of the funniest things you've ever said.
One of the biggest things I think is working with a great team.
Yeah.
And my guys are hilarious. I absolutely love them. So
My burger.
the next section will be coming up.
Literally nothing. Air is thinner than that. That's the only thing in a burger.
On the first day, we got everything set up. We filmed Daniel sort of setting up his tent, and then we did some interviews
Can we pause it?
with.
Cool. So, what I want to go through with everyone here is, so this was the first interview we did. Again, rocked up in the middle of a forest, and it's up to me to go, right, where are we going to film these interviews to? Like, what are we going to do? What's going to look the best for an audience? How are we going to tell this story best? And effectively, when I seen him setting up his tent, I then said, let's basically do an interview outside his tent. It's telling a story to the audience. It's him with his tent. It has all of his equipment and stuff there. So that's ended up what we did. I've done this diagram. These diagrams seem to go down really well on Instagram. If you want to know where I did it, it's on the Nan Link app. If you've heard of Nan Light, Nan, they do their own app, and you can create these type of diagrams here. And what you can do is you can actually link the lights. And if this is your main setup, you can actually go into the diagram and turn the lights on and off through the diagram, which is fantastic. It's really, really cool. So as you can see here, what I will explain in the video in a minute is we actually used the sun as a rim light or a hair light or whatever people want to call it these days. Yes, I did have a little bit of a pavo tube here just for because the sun was actually, this was during midday, and we needed to get the interviews done at that time. There was no other time to do these interviews. And obviously, as we know with being videographers, the sun at midday is horrendous, right? It's too harsh, and so that's obviously why we then brought in this black flag. Again, bit of shitty rig. It was just like a sheet that we had at the time, and just rigged that up just to create some, to stop basically the sun being so harsh on him. I will explain in the video in a minute. Used a 300B with some diffusion, so we didn't have a softbox for this. Now, usually with a softbox, you need to get the light quite close to somebody's face for it to be soft. I've got 5 minutes. Oh, my days. Okay, sorry. See, this is what I mean. This is why I created the video, and now I'm not... Play the video. Play the video.
Him and Renee and Ryan and Ronnie, and just did like introductions to who they are, basically. So we used the sun as the hair light. I had a 500B, and we set up like a sort of silk muslin type of thing, but it was so windy and we had to try and tape it down, and we had to like put fans on top of it to try and keep it still, and then it got covered in mud and everything. But we basically shone the 500B through this silk muslin to act as like the softbox, so we had some nice soft light on his face. We filmed them meeting, and then we just followed Daniel in the woods with them, basically. Day 2, we then had to do a night shoot. I think it was like 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. or something like that. That was hilarious. Everybody was so tired because the sleeping pattern was just completely off. But the best thing through that night for me, obviously filming like the reactions of things and filming the actual documentary was fun. But for me, the most fun was the fact that I finally bought myself an easy rig. Because it was nighttime and we needed some sort of light on their faces, I put a Nanlite PavoTube 6C to the end of the easy rig to act as like a key light for when I'm filming them, and it worked perfectly. And I was so happy with it. I just loved like rigging stuff up to the Easy Rig, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. So that worked a treat. So day 3, we then went back the same route as we did in the nighttime. It was raining that day. So again, my favorite thing, I had my Easy Rig on and I attached my umbrella attachment to it. My God, did it come in handy on that day. So it's raining, I have the umbrella on, and I am completely fine. It was just really cool to sort of have like my FX6 on it and know that I was going to be protected with this umbrella. It's very big, it's very wide. It also covers the backpack part of the Easy Rig as well. So that was absolutely brilliant. And on the 4th day, we just had 10 interviews or so. We interviewed like Daniel's family. We interviewed Daniel, the 3 R's, his granddad. We just dove deep into people's feelings and Daniel's family and their struggles with Daniel with his autism. That sort of summed up the documentary. And I think when it comes out, it's not going to be so much about Bigfoot. I think it's literally more about Daniel and dealing with his autism.
You could probably stop it there. To be fair, it's just me breaking a tree, and then I end up, and then I finish it. I mean, maybe not on that picture, but whatever you want to do, I guess. No, I'm only joking. It's fine. You can play it in the background if you want. But so I've only got like 2 minutes now. So I'm going to read this. So I did write this out specifically for today, and it's a bit easier if I read what I've wrote out because I don't have much time. So I've put here. Creating compelling content for videography is an art that blends storytelling, technical skill, and creativity. It begins with a clear understanding of the narrative you want to convey, whether it's an event, promotional video, or a short film or documentary. Crafting a strong story involves identifying key moments, emotions, and messages that resonate with the audience. So exactly what I'm trying to say in this video when we started focusing more on Daniel rather than the Bigfoot stuff. I just feel like that was more of a, when a viewer wants to watch this as a documentary, it's going to be more compelling for them. I've put technical, the technical side of things is basically like essential. So I teach this at my workshops at CVP, but I've put this includes mastering camera techniques, lighting, sound, color grading, and editing. Using varied camera angles, smooth transitions, and well-timed cuts can significantly enhance the visual impact. High-quality audio and appropriate music selection also play crucial roles in setting the tone and mood. Creativity is at the heart of compelling videography. This means experimenting with different angles and styles, perspectives, and innovate techniques to keep the content fresh and engaging. Attention to detail, such as capturing candid moments and subtle expressions, adds authenticity and depth to a video. So when I talked about then that during the interviews, we had somebody asking the questions, but then I jumped in and I wanted to show a lot more emotion. And I will ask a bit more of the hard-hitting stuff. And we actually filmed Daniel's granddad and one of the Bigfoot scientists. They actually cried. I asked them some sort of home-hitting questions, and that's sort of what you want to feel connected to someone when you want to watch a documentary, in my opinion. I won't bother with the rest because I'm running out of time. Yeah? Oh, I can keep going. Oh, okay. I can keep going. Look at that. And then I've put, lastly, understanding your audience and tailoring the content to their preferences ensures greater engagement and impact. By combining these elements, a videographer can create content that not only captures attention, but also leaves a lasting impression. So, I mean, because I don't have much time, if anybody does, I'm going to go off to the side. So if anyone wants to ask any questions and stuff, please do so. I'm here for another few hours anyway. Or you can just follow me on Instagram and stuff like that. I'm not going to plug myself. That's not me. But yeah, if you want to speak to me, just come to the side and we'll go down that. I hope that was okay in the time. I haven't got much time. Okay, thank you.